good morning, good afternoon, whichever time you're seeing this. Wanted to do a quick video before you took your quiz, going through the ones that we did not have a chance to look through yesterday. First period, we didn't get through a lot of them. Got through a little bit more in some other classes, but still want to go through this real quickly. The quiz that you're taking today is not extremely long, and therefore you don't need the whole time. So I'm going to go through this, but I am going to honor the fact that some of you guys don't work quite as fast as others. So I'm going to go relatively quickly so you will have some time to work. Okay, so here we go. Let's get started. Remember, we did the left side almost in every class. I think we even did this first one in first period. But anyways, we're going to pick up looking through the right side. I'll leave the ones that we did yesterday in most of the classes. I'll leave them up still, so for those who we didn't get to, you can look at those and make sure you got them right. Okay, so on the right side, the domain. Again, it's very similar to the other graph in that it never stops going to the left. You see, this tells me it never stops going left, and this tells me it never stops going to the right. So my domain is going to be unlimited, where we would put, of course, negative infinity to positive infinity. The range is a little different than the one over to the left, because this one, it never goes below this point right here, which is -4. Now, these arrows indicate that it'll go up forever, but it never goes below -4. So -4 is that hard stopping point that it will not go below. So that's my small value, but it'll go up forever. So it will approach positive infinity. Whoa, don't know what happened there. Keeps on happening. Maybe that's the last time. I may have been hitting something on that on accident. So anyways, domain and range, pretty simple concept. Okay. Now, even easier than domain and range is the x and the y intercepts. Remember, that just means x-intercept is where it crosses the x-axis. So that's here and here. Well, that value is -7, and it's also going through the x-axis at +1. Please remember not to write that as an ordered pair, because it's not an ordered pair. It's two completely different points. And then, of course, we have one y-intercept right there, and that is -1. Okay? Now, changing just a little bit and dealing with increasing intervals. Remember, as we read a book, we read this graph from left to right. So, right off the bat, this graph is doing what? Well, it's decreasing. It's decreasing. But then, of course, it gets to that point and it starts going up. It starts increasing. So right off the bat, it's decreasing. So where is it decreasing from? Well, it's definitely decreasing from negative infinity. Now, how long is it decreasing? Well, until it gets to this point. And if I follow that up, that's the value -3. Remember, it's just a parenthesis because it's not included. It's just decreasing as it approaches that x value, -3. And of course, from there, it starts increasing. So my increasing interval starts at -3, or as it leaves -3. And remember, I know it's going up, but it's also going right forever. So as an interval, we are going to say from -3 to positive infinity. Okay, there's my increasing and decreasing intervals. Pretty simple. Now, positive and negative. Again, positive, we said it's where it's above the x-axis. So it's clearly above the x-axis here, and it's above the x-axis here. Those are going to be my positive intervals, so two of them. But it's negative where it's below the x-axis, so that's in that little span. So a lot of times I like to find the one that's alone first. So I'm going to start with that negative interval, and I'm going to see where it kind of goes through, and that looks like from -7, and it goes all the way until that other x-intercept +1. So that's the interval in which it's negative. Now, if you look at the positive intervals, well, this one right here, it goes off to the left forever, but it stays up in the positive region all the way until it reaches that -7. So we will say that it's from negative infinity to negative 7. And then, like we said, it went back under, but then it came back up through positive 1, and it's going to stay in that positive region for the rest of the time. So that's from positive 1 to infinity. Okay? So that's it. That's really all there is to this. Pretty simple work, simple problems that I know you guys understand. All right, so yesterday I told you that there was really no need to fill this out as we were going through it because it's all in your notes. But I did tell you that what I would use it for is to go ahead and write all that stuff out based on your memory and then go back to your notes to see if you got them all right. Well, there's all the right answers, so you definitely want to check those. All right. Now, as you can see, we did in most classes, we did numbers 1 through 8 together. All the answers are here for the classes where we did not. So I'm going to leave them here while we're working through the others. So number 9, again, we're going to simply state our transformations. So 2 out front. So again, remember yesterday how I told you I wanted you guys to process this. I wanted you to kind of do a 3-step process. And the first step is to look at the number and decide what it tells me. Well, remember, it's greater than 1. Greater than 1 tells me that this thing is definitely going to get more narrow, right? It's going to get more narrow. And the second thing I wanted you to focus on was its location. Okay, it's located outside, so it's going to be vertical. Okay, it's going to be a vertical dilation. So this is where I want you to picture that little hair tie that we used the first day I taught this. And remember, what vertical dilation makes a graph narrow? Does taking it and vertically stretching it down make it more narrow, or does compressing it up make it more narrow? Well, definitely stretching it down. So this one's going to be a vertical stretch. So hopefully you'll do those 3 things anytime you're multiplying by a number and you have to state those transformations. I hope that you process it like that. Remember, plus 1 is telling me that I'm shifting. Okay, it's inside, so it's horizontal. And remember, inside is the opposite. So that looks like a positive 1, but we know it's actually going to be a negative 1 shift. Well, what kind of horizontal shift is negative? Left. It's going to shift left 1. Okay, so there's that. My writing's not all that neat. Hopefully you were able to see all those. If not, just ask Miss Story to go back to one that you maybe see. But I'm going to zoom in so I can write a little smaller. Okay, 10. All right, inside, that minus 3 tells me it's a shift. It's inside, so it's horizontal. And we know that inside is opposite. So that looks like negative 3, so it's a positive 3 horizontal shift. So it's going to shift right 3. And then, of course, this one's a vertical shift. And remember, it is what it is. So positive 5 means it's going to shift vertically up 5. Okay? Moving along, that negative out front indicates a reflection. There aren't parentheses, so this is understood to be outside. It's vertical reflection. A vertical reflection, remember, reflects over this axis. So I would either describe this in one of 2 ways. Either put vertical reflection or say that it reflects over the x-axis. And then, of course, don't forget that that minus 6, it's also on the outside. It's vertical shift. And it is what it is. So this thing's going to shift down 6. So hopefully you've gotten all these right so far. If you haven't, clean it up and be prepared for the quiz here in just a second. Hopefully this little refresher will be all you need to do well on it. It's an easy quiz, actually. Way shorter than you're probably thinking it's going to be. All right, first, I'm multiplying by 0.25. I know it's a dilation. So here's my process. 0.25 is definitely less than 1, so it's definitely going to make it wider. Okay? It's outside, so it's obviously vertical. So what vertical movement makes it wider? Vertical stretch? No. Vertical compression. So this is going to be a vertical compression. Okay, moving along, that -7, again, just to respect your time, it's inside, horizontal shift. It's the opposite of what it looks like. So this thing's a positive horizontal shift, so it's going to shift right 7. And this -9 outside is a vertical shift. It is what it is, so it shifts down 9. Okay, last one. We're multiplying by 2. It's definitely outside because there's no parentheses at all. So kind of like the one up here, number 9, it's going to be a vertical stretch. Kind of wish I would have used a different number there, but can't go backwards at this point. And then this +1 also is outside, so it's a vertical shift. +1, up 1. So it shifts up 1. Okay? So there you have it. All fairly easy. Moving along. Again, in some of the classes we were able to do all of these 14 through 17. In some we were not. So you see them over there. Of course, the X and the Y intercepts, that's a joke. Every one of y'all can do that. Here's the X intercepts. That first one to the left looks like -3. And the one on the right looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So -3 and 6. Now this did ask a little different question. It asked about positive intervals, which I told you would be the bonus today, and I'm not changing that. But again, don't just not try it because, oh, hey, it's bonus. Try it. It's easy. Look, where is it positive? Let me ask that a different way. Where is the graph above the x-axis? Well, all through this region here. And that region, the interval is described from this x-intercept, -3, and to the other x-intercept, +6. See, the x-intercepts are very closely related to those intervals, obviously, because those are the places where they cross the x-axis. And then, of course, the interval where it's negative are the ones below the x-axis. So to describe that, that would be everything from here over to that point. And it would be everything from here over to this point. I mean, it's just going to keep on going. So those intervals I would describe as -∞ to -3, and then also from 6 to +∞. Okay? Easy as can be. If you have any questions, ask someone who's close to you who probably understands it. Not overly difficult, but again, like I said, that one will be a bonus. And the last couple that we're going to do here are transformations, which we've already done several. But I'm going to go pretty fast. I'm multiplying by 2 on the outside. Again, narrow, vertical. That's a vertical stretch. That's the move you make vertically to make it more narrow. Next, that +1's on the inside. So it's a horizontal shift. It looks the opposite, so it's -1 shift. So it shifts left 1. This one, number 19, it's negative inside those absolute values. So that's a horizontal reflection. A horizontal reflection reflects this way, which we would call over the y-axis. So it reflects over y-axis. Or, of course, I told you, you could put horizontal reflection. And this -4 is outside, so that's shifting down 4. All right, last one on this left side. That 1/2. Again, let's think this one through. 1/2 tells me, hey, it's got to get wider. Then, of course, the fact that it's inside means it has to be horizontal. So I'm trying to imagine what move, dilation-wise, Horizontally makes it wider. Does horizontally stretching it or horizontally compressing? Well, it's definitely horizontal stretch. And then the last one is adding 3 outside, so that's going to shift up 3. Last 3. I'll go fast. That is wide, vertical. What move vertically makes it wide? A vertical compression. Hopefully you already did these anyways, and you're just checking them. And then that -2 inside means it's the opposite, +2, horizontal shift, so it shifts right 2. Number next, that negative, there's no parentheses, that's outside, that's a vertical reflection, meaning it reflects over the x-axis. And that +1 also outside, there's no parentheses, so it's going to shift up 1. And the last one, that +3 inside means a -3 horizontal shift, so it shifts left 3, and it's going to shift down 4. Okay? All right, I want to give you about, I don't know, let's see how long this video is. It's right now, it's been a 16-minute. Y'all take 3 minutes, and then you'll have 25 minutes left in class to take this quiz. All right, hey, you're going to do great. So concentrate. When you're finished with it, turn it in, and hopefully you'll have a great weekend.